So in this video, I'm going to explain and demonstrate how I help my clients get booked out during low season with executive offsites and retreats and events to fill up the low season. Now I'm going to show you examples of my clients and I'm going to contrast that with some examples of companies that I think are amazing, that have amazing experiences, but there's a lot of gaps that could be filled. I'm already assuming you are a 5-star world-class luxury resort, hotel, or experienced. You provide an incredible experience, and the typical advice of content and copy and the more generic things you see online is not going to apply to this video. It's going to be more in-depth and in detail. When it comes to luxury positioning, and when you are positioning for selling to clients that are about to spend 5 figures on a retreat, on an offsite, or an experience, there are different factors that come into play that aren't as necessary in the traditional high season tourism marketing. First, a big factor is risk reversal. If I'm spending $10,000 upwards, some corporate retreats are going to be spending 50K to 100K on an offsite. We need to know that things are going to run smoothly. We need to know who's part of the process, who's going to be helping us to plan this offsite, who's going to be making sure it runs smoothly. Luxury must be assertive. You must be positioning yourself against your competitors or the general industry. Leads are going to be shopping around with different providers, different hotels, different offsite venues, different expeditions before they book with you. And it's your job to take away their decision making, their decision fatigue, because they're going to be comparing so many different spots, and just position yourself as the number one spot. Another big factor is the lack of specific content to the clients that you're trying to pitch to. When you have these ICPs who are HR managers, HR directors, chief of staff, those kind of people, most content on these sites are tailored towards the high season tourist who wants to have an incredible experience, but isn't concerned about the logistical side of things and things working that way. Also, many sites don't have much content of actual offsites and experiences. They may have like an experience page, but it's very generic, and it's just kind of hoping on wishful thinking that brands are going to reach out to them to host retreats or expeditions at their locations. Right, so I'm going to start off just with Explorer. I'm going to pick on the Iceland expedition, which, again, as is the case with any high-ticket luxury experience, the visuals look stunning. The content looks amazing. However, when we really go into the specifics of it, and we look for the points that I mentioned previously with the risk reversal, being assertive, having every detail taken care of, and specific client that people want to hear about, it just lacks kind of in that area of things. So this is an expedition that's $22,000 per person, which is a big price tag. Now, when we come to actually requesting a quote or checking availability or trying to book, we have this all-in-one thing, which we have to then check Iceland. And then we get given a form which requires us to fill out. Now the problem with this is and it sounds very simple, but it's putting time between us requesting a quote and us actually putting in our information and submitting that to the company, and it's not presenting it in a way that is really exciting. Next thing is this video. It shows, again, beautiful content. However, what this is really lacking, this whole site, is the accommodation, it's the food, it's the team itself that are going to be guiding this expedition, and also video testimonials, any reviews, written reviews. There's nothing on here that show this, which is a big gap. The itinerary, again, looks nice, but there could be so much more. Like with each accommodation, each thing that's going on, there could be so much more in depth that's being shared. And we need to reduce the friction between me being interested in this and then submitting a request and then eventually booking in. And it's also very difficult to track different sources of where clients are coming from. So when you want to increase your marketing and ramp that up to know what's really working, there's not much information that you're collecting that's going to help you know that. I feel like what would be super cool here would be some form of documentary style showing the expedition itself, like a almost vlog / David Attenborough style video, like 10 minutes long, that really shows off things more in depth and brings people into the whole experience. And then we're going to go on to TropicSurf. This video is really nice. I think some of it could be mistaken for stock video here, and some of it doesn't look luxury, and the website itself doesn't function as luxury. I'm going to pick on the Fiji charter, for example. Again, there's no real video here. There's only this one video on the site, which, again, the script for it, I watched the full video, is very, it answers some pain points, but it looks a bit generic. This looks quite stock, this video. This super yacht tour, this charter, again, same with Explorer, the visual content, it looks amazing, and looks like there's so much going on here. But again, there's no video, there's no one showing the guides. There is a surf guide section. However, there's no video content. There's no reviews here, and there's nothing that is, I actually requested a brochure for one of the Bali locations, and again, it didn't come straight away. And again, it just doesn't look luxury, right? When you claim to be luxury, you need to have every detail taken care of, and the whole experience that you're providing, from first looking at the website to going through all the processes, and then to getting first contact with the team. This looks like a ChatGPT message, right? It's just not very it's not very engaging, it's not very inviting. They're also leading with a discount here, which for luxury isn't great. I'm going to show you some different examples from some of my clients that I implemented that have really been helping us. So for example, this is on our retreats page, and we have multiple retreat pages for the different retreats that we have that people can host with us. And we have this calculator where people can design a custom retreat. It doesn't take long. They put in their information and they get a custom quote at the end of it. Plus, they can book in a call immediately with our sales director to plan their retreat. They get everything they get a pricing breakdown, and they get this email to them instantly with a full breakdown, and then another option to book a call with our team if they didn't. Again, it's shortening that sales process and reducing the friction between them looking at us and submitting a quote. For example, this email with TropicSurf, it's leaving up questions for me, like people want things instantly. You can chop down the sales process, you're saving me as a lead so much more time, and you're reducing the time it takes for me to choose you out of all the other options that I'm comparing. Also for our surf page, this is one thing we implemented, which it shows a breakdown of the surf, of the location. For people who are interested in surf retreats, they want to know what it's like. They want to know that part of the risk reversal for surf retreats is people want to know that surf conditions, swell conditions are good. People don't want to come to a surf spot and have flat waves or super massive waves if it's a beginner or intermediate retreat. We had trailers throughout the website. These are examples from a client's retreat which priced over $10,000, which we've almost sold out. Trailers of the retreat that shows the experience, that pairs it with conversations with facilitators and clients to really build that trust, and also itineraries that show things a bit more in depth, timings, locations, also video testimonials of our clients. This is just a snippet of a big bunch we have on our site. Sections dedicated to meeting the hosts, people who are going to be facilitating the experience, all just to build that trust way more and to strengthen that risk reversal element on the site. And it all just really, really boosts your trust and the quality of leads that you're getting through. When you're able to implement something like this calculator where it gives an instant price, someone knows exactly whether they can afford it or not. And when you are operating at a luxury level, you're already showing that you're above everyone else because the bar is super low for these experiences, because you're making it easy for them to book.